Back to language wars, attempts to impose Hindi in the southern states have always been met with protests, followed by the typical argument made by the Hindi belt. Now, stand-up comedian Aravind Sa refers to this eternal rumbling and grumbling in his piece, why Tamils don't speak Hindi, which is a part of Madrasi, a stand-up special featuring 60 shows across 6 countries. In his words, revealing the real reason why Tamilians don't speak Hindi, despite knowing the language, were the various stereotypes prevailing in the minds of North Indians. This in turn irked some North Indians. Predictably so, many of the comments are along the lines of why Hindi shouldn't be accepted by all, and if such videos were not divisive.
Theory that Chennaians are people who don't know Hindi, right? That's not true. That's not at all true. Chennaians are people who know Hindi and still refuse to speak Hindi. You know why we do that? You know why we do it? Because we like to irritate the North Indians like Deepika, Vasisht and all like this. You know why we like to irritate you people? Because you people did a call tribute to us called Chennai Express and Lungi Dance. One such song, which was this Lungi Dance, which became such a big hit and in up north, and it almost became like the South Indian anthem that we never asked for. At some level, I felt, hey, since I got into a stand-up comedian, the main job of a comedian is to show a mirror to the rest of the world. So I thought, hey, you guys should probably see how we view it back here. It's not our anthem. In fact, we are indifferent towards it. And I thought I have enough reasons to articulate and explain why we are indifferent. That's pretty much it. I find it very amusing that there's a controversy behind it. That's pretty much a comment made to irritate them. And in fact, I even go on to say, you know why we do that? We like to irritate you people. And that's, again, in the context of a show, that makes absolute sense. What I said on stage makes sense within the 4 walls of the 1,200 people who saw it then. But once you put it on a YouTube video and once you put it on the internet, the context is very important, because I'm being completely sarcastic in the whole time. If you remove the sarcasm out of it, it obviously looks like I'm inciting hate and I'm dividing India, and suddenly Republic of South India is an idea again. But no, that's not the point. The point is to trivialize the whole situation.
All right. Let's go across to my colleague Lata, who was speaking with the stand-up comedian there, Aravind Sa. Lata, it's interesting how this young man was just trying to take a comical take, a satirical take on the entire language war that we've been seeing between the north and the south of the country. But unfortunately, what he said hasn't gone down very well with the public.
Yes, that's right. Many of them seem to have taken offense to what he said, but on the other hand, if you see, there are South Indian stereotypes which are shown in Bollywood, and there are North Indian stereotypes which are shown in the South film industry. So it works both ways. And I think he was just being himself, humorous and comical.
Lata, is this indicative of how intolerant really are we to even humor? I mean, we've been seeing that in the past few months, perhaps there's been a change to almost what people are to wear, what people are to eat, sanskari rules and regulations. Even in comedy now we're seeing, do you think this is another sign of yet how intolerant are we becoming gradually?
Yes, that's right. I think we're becoming extremely sensitive day by day, and it seems to be quite unwarranted. The more progressive we are supposed to be getting, the more sensitive we seem to be getting. And what a stand-up comic or a comedian says is only meant for laughter. It's not meant to be taken seriously. But people have taken what he said to heart, and they're not amused about the fact that he says, Tamilians don't want to speak Hindi, even though they know Hindi. And I think there's always been a North versus South divide, and a take on this language has probably just accentuated it at this point.
I'm only hoping, Lata, that no political parties are jumping in on this one. I mean, of course, there's a young man who has said something, and this is comical, as we understand. He's a stand-up comedian. But language is a very sensitive issue, as we know, especially in the state of Tamil Nadu. I hope that no political party is jumping in on this one.
Yes, language is a very political and a very sensitive issue, and you know that the imposition of Hindi in Tamil Nadu has always been very strongly opposed by the Dravidian parties, and as of now, no, there have been no political leaders who are making statements at his remarks, but then one doesn't know in the future. But what he said in a way was right. There are many Tamilians who do speak Hindi and who do know the language, but they're just averse to it being imposed on them as an official language, I think.
That for a moment, Lata. Thank you for joining us for a moment with those comments. But staying